Cool. All right. Well, welcome to what will probably be, I'm going to call it episode 8 of Artists Shooting Artists. This is my YouTube channel show thing where I attempt to explore the nature of art and different forms of art, be it musicians, photographers, chiropractors, whatever, whatever we want to look into. You laugh, but once you get your back adjusted, you never look at the world the same, let me tell you. Today, I am joined by the Bellwethers.
Yeah. Hi.
First 4-man, multi-person, anything I've ever tried to do. So hopefully the audio doesn't suck and everything is good. But I have faith in myself and my buddy, Steven, Mr. Fink. What's going on, guys? Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I had headphones on. I didn't need those on. That's silly. Cool. Well, let's just jump right in. So tell me, who are the Bellwethers? Who do we got here tonight?
What's up, Drew? Good
Hi.
to see you again.
Good to see you again too.
I'm Rob. Bobby.
What? So let's do this. We'll make it very formal.
What do you do,
give me
Rob?
your name. Give me the instrument
So
/
nervous.
instruments you play,
Okay.
and also, do you sing?
Contribution to the band. Okay,
Yes,
well, I'm
yes.
Rob, Bobby. On stage, I'm the drummer. Keep the rhythm section, the heartbeat. Off stage, I like to organize our vocal arrangements. We do
Okay.
a lot of 3 parts, do some of that. And then I'm in charge of the studio. So engineering, setting up EQs, levels.
Yes, knocking over
Exactly
mics.
like that,
Perfect. Everything makes sense. Everything makes so much sense right now. Perfect. Well, thanks. Thank you, Rob.
Oh, and keys. I
Keys.
record the keys.
The
You
keys.
remember that?
I do remember the keys.
Yeah, hey, what's up? I'm Paul. I am the guitar player for the Bellwethers, both shredding lead and rhythm.
Shredding lead. That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, yeah, I like playing guitar.
There you go. If you're not shredding,
As
you're doing it
opposed to
wrong.
Suck-ass lead.
So, that's,
Yeah, and then I do backup vocals too.
okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My name is Kenny. I'm the singer. I write the songs, like the structures, and then I let them flesh it out. So I write the soul of the song, and they write the flesh and bones of it.
Oh, I like that metaphor. Bringing life to your music.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I play a little guitar.
Guitar. All right.
I am Kyle. I play the bass guitar. And that's about it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
He's in training for backgrounds.
I
Right?
actually am, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
very cool.
Just this
Soon.
week.
Classic bassist, man. A few
Bellwethers
words.
camp.
It's keeping that rhythm, sitting with that drum section,
That's all you
plucking
gotta do,
away.
man.
Plucking away. Cool.
He has a couple signature moves too on stage.
Power stands, leg thing. Do you do
It's
the
more of a slither.
more of a
He
slither?
slithers.
Do you do that thing where you put your feet together and you hop up and down?
Working on that one.
That was a very punk rock move.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Mark Hoppus.
Hoppus, yeah.
Mark Hoppus,
Up and down, yeah.
go-to move. Cool. So, I mean, obvious question: how long have you guys been a band?
Kenny.
Oh, in this lineup, we've had Rob since February. So what is that, like 6 months, 7 months? 7 months. The Bellwethers have been a thing since last July.
All right.
And then we had a couple bands before that.
Oh, very cool. So, since last July, so that's pretty cool. You guys have been doing pretty well for only being together for about a year or so.
It has been about a year, yeah.
Have you been building upon now? So you said you were in a few bands before. Is this like the evolution of a previous band, or when you guys started the Bellwethers, was it like a whole new thing? Like, let's do this whole other sound, or let's do this whole other kind of direction.
No, kind of, yeah. We've had a couple different incarnations of at least us three.
Okay.
I think 3 different bands we've gone by, but only one of them was probably, I would say, like a predecessor to the Bellwethers.
Okay.
And now it's called Lions Like Us. We used to play in a band 4 years ago, and it was shitty pop punk. That's what we call
I feel
it.
like a lot. Yeah, I know what that's like.
Can we say that?
Can we say that? You can say whatever you want.
This is YouTube. This is the internet.
Yeah, this is the internet. This is the Wild
Oh,
West.
God, okay.
Yes.
All right, here we go then.
Oh, cool. Fuck balls.
So that being said, so have you guys always gone through drummers? Is this like a Spinal Tap situation? Is he doomed to spontaneously explode at some
that
point?
ball. Yeah.
Well, before a couple years ago, we were in some bands, the 3 of us. We had a couple other members. It was cool. We were just kind of cruising around. And then college kind of split that up.
Yeah.
We all kind of went to different schools, or we just kind of, just
I
kinda
learned how to
stopped
write
playing music.
songs.
Yeah.
And then we came back together, and yeah, we had a different drummer and another guitar player. but you know, just different goals, different priorities, and we came across Rob, who I went to high school with, and then that's kind of what evolved into this, the current state of the Bellwethers, and.
Yeah, and it's kind of been uphill from there.
Yeah, well, it's impressive. I used to work with Rob, so I've known him for a while, but I forget I'm a little bit older than him. But for me, like playing music, you kind of get to the point. Like I started playing music in college, and we had a band, but then we graduate college, and it's kind of like, well, we're not really good enough to kind of pursue this, but we had to get real jobs, and you kind of have to find that balance. It's really cool that you guys are. I mean, you guys are doing it. You're playing shows. I think last I saw, you guys just had a show at the House of Blues. Which is pretty. I would say, it's pretty big. And then I saw the audience. You guys had a pretty big turnout out there. It was for now. If I remember, it was like a competition or something you guys were doing.
Battle of the Bands, Vans,
Warped Tour,
Warped Tour,
Battle for the Vans Warped Tour. Yeah.
Bands.
Bands.
Yeah, it was a regional competition that the winner gets to play a date on Warped Tour. That was the prize.
So we're and you guys won.
We won.
So you're playing Warped Tour.
We did.
That's every punk band's dream.
Yeah.
Or I mean, nowadays metal.
We
or
did
metal.
it, guys.
Yeah, nowadays metal. Yeah,
or weird like
Screamo.
hardcore electro indie folk rock bands. No, that's awesome. I mean, so where are you guys? Are you gonna play like locally on the Warped Tour, or are they gonna send you somewhere random?
We just got the one slot.
Okay, but
Oh,
is
we
it
actually
like
already
is it like I know it used to be like in Fullerton, I think around, or I don't know.
There was Pomona. There's Carson.
Pomona. Okay.
We played in Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we competed Sunday, we won, and then the gig was Tuesday.
Oh.
So I mean, we all had our stuff packed just in case. I mean, honestly, we didn't think we were gonna.
No.
I mean, you never know.
We
But
didn't think we were
What,
going to
5
pass the
months?
first round.
No, we didn't.
we didn't expect this at all. It was I think, we just got together, and then we said we don't have any live shows right now. Where can we play? Where can we just do this? And then we got an email. Hey, you guys should do this. And we said, cool. I mean, at least it'll be a show that showcases as we played at Slide Bar the first round.
It was in Fullerton.
Yeah.
Hometown.
Yeah, it was in Fullerton.
yeah, that's I mean.
And then, to our surprise, we advanced. I was 3 bands advanced that night. And then the next time it was in Long Beach, same thing. It was 1 out of 7 we're going to advance. And we're thinking, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And we advanced. And then at the House of Blues, same thing. There were some really good bands. Shout out to all you guys if you guys watch. The crazy competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane.
Same thing. We took it. And the next day we had to drive to Arizona for 6 hours. Got there, got situated. Kind of got to experience what touring was like with
Tour
these
life,
guys.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
cool. We had a good
little
time.
taste.
We were still together, so I'm assuming that went fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona.
Yeah, we pulled through.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, Warped Tour. I mean, for me, I hear that. Like, that's a big deal. Well, I mean, so what was the experience like getting there? I mean, like actually playing and like at Warped Tour.
It was heavy.
Yeah.
I got one word, and it's hot.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I
Mesa,
mean,
it was
Arizona
so
in
hot.
July. Was it July?
Was it July or
June.
It was June.
June 23rd.
Yeah. We got to the lot.
Campground.
Yeah, the campground at 9:30 in the
Uh-huh.
morning, and we played at 3:30.
oh wow.
So we were in the heat for 6
It was
hours
1:15 that day.
with like no relief.
Yeah, when we took the stage, it was 115.
But was it a
115.
dry heat?
It was.
Felt like a blow dryer, which is
Yeah,
Just
it
on your
was,
face.
It was,
Because
super,
it was
Yeah.
windy.
it was
Yeah,
super
it was
dry
nuts.
heat, but I'm just glad that like my guitar pick like didn't melt.
Just fade into dust as you're playing. It's like, I'm a finger picker now. Look at me
I'm glad
go.
none of us died.
Yeah.
Hydration, very
Yeah,
important. Very important to stay
pretty close.
hydrated during those
We
situations.
all had episodes of, what was it, like the heat stroke throughout the day?
At least
Heat
once.
exhaustion, yeah.
At least once, all of us just felt bad and went to
Yeah.
the shade. But, I mean,
It was rad.
At the time, you're thinking, man, what are we doing? But now that when we talk about it and stuff, it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you think about it, because for a lot of bands to go on tour, like that's like, man, like we're going to go on tour and stuff, but you don't really realize how hard it probably is to go on tour, because that was a day. I mean, that was one day.
Yeah.
Obviously, the circumstances were weird because you had to drive out, but it's like that's one day on a stop of, I mean, however many shows the Warped Tour plays. And then I'm sure it's like, if you were on tour, got to pack up and you're off to the next town and time to deal with that, over the course of
Crazy
a summer.
schedules.
Yeah.
Very crazy schedules.
But I mean, there's nothing like playing in front of a live audience. I mean, that's kind of, for what I remember, like that rush of like you're on stage and everyone's cheering you on and you're getting to play your stuff and just being able to perform like your music. I think that's really what makes it worth it. And all the conditions and really kind of getting out there.
Right.
Yeah. It was
It's a rush. Yeah.
And we played to a lot of strangers. You know, we didn't have any family out there.
Yeah, I mean that too. Just the exposure and just that experience of like, let's play out of our comfort zone and let's given the, I guess, ability to play in such, for these other people. I mean, that's the biggest thing. A lot of times, especially for like new bands, like you play shows or whatever, and it's like, oh, like you have your friends and family come, but you play all these shows, it's always the same people. So that's awesome. I'm really glad you guys managed to do that. What I was going to ask was the creative process for you guys. I know you kind of touched upon it about like, you kind of start the form. So like talk about like how you actually create a song. I know a lot of bands like, I think the general consensus a lot of times is like you write the lyrics and you kind of put music to it. I mean, some bands will write music and put lyrics to do how do you guys, do you have a certain way you kind of approach music stuff, or is it someone just like, hey, I got this thing I'm working on, like, let's see what we can do with it?
It started to diversify a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be pretty common that I would just write a song on the acoustic guitar and I would send it to these guys and they would just learn it.
Yeah.
But, the more time we spend together, the more ideas get bounced off of each other and the more ideas get conceived from different sources.
Yeah.
So we've sort of been hybridizing our creative process, and it's been, I think, pretty healthy.
Well, it's good. I mean, especially because I feel like, giving everyone a chance to provide input. I mean, I think that helps keep the band healthy, and, if you have someone doing everything, it can be very easy to splinter and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Do you have to say, like, it's like one, like, lyric person, or is it just whoever? Is this just mostly you?
Yeah, Kenny's the lyric writer.
I always enjoyed the music writing process because you're creating music, but it's like, I don't know if it's silly to call it poetry, but in a way, but a lot of music, the way you write, I mean, it's like these poems you're putting to sound,
Kind of, yeah.
And just that ability of expression, I feel like some people don't really connect a lot of times because, I mean, you hear some songs, you're like, what, it's a chorus and it's just like a repetitive bass track, whatever. But for a lot of people, like that process involved, like songs can be so much more than, just like music, it can be a lot more. Do you find yourself, I mean, what do you find that inspires you when you write? Do you draw upon certain things like that you like to base your songs upon, or is it just kind of like stuff that comes to you?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll just kind of riff over some chords, and sort of sentences sort of develop on their own, and that can dictate the direction of a song.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll have like a direction that a topic that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of like blogging.
Yeah.
But I'll use that. Like I'm actually doing that right now. I'm working on a song and I just had a premise, so I'm fleshing that out.
Very cool. So I'm wondering, when you talk about starting a band and becoming successful as a band, I mean, it's a very difficult thing. I mean, I've heard you guys' stuff. I've seen you guys' shows, and you guys are tight. You're solid, but it can be a little intimidating because there's so many bands out there. I mean, what's that song by the Presidents of the United States of America? Now there's a throwback. It's like there's a million better bands, there's a million better songs, and all that kind of good stuff. But to be able to proceed with this sort of dream, what have you guys found? I mean, you talk about this experience with the Vans Warped Tour, and you're like, you're not playing any live shows. Let's try this thing out, and it worked out for you guys. Like, oh, we got this gig. But what's been, I guess, the hardest thing in terms of like being a band and trying to like, I guess, make it as a band? I know that's kind of a hard question. It's like, how is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The thing I would say is finding, or for me personally, is finding what routes to prioritize first. Whether it's writing songs, whether it's booking shows, whether it's recording, whether it's, because each one takes a ton of time.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of hard, like prioritizing what should we do next.
Yeah.
What would get us? What's the most beneficial route?
Or even like right now, what should we be doing?
Yeah. Well, that's the hardest part because I mean, how do you know? Because bands can take off in so many different ways.
Yeah, and there's hundreds of millions of stories of bands that have made it. They were doing something, but this band did something else. So there's no right way to do something or to do this. You just kind of have to keep going and
wait for a lucky break.
Yeah, I mean it's scary, right? Because a lot of it's luck. Like you got to be like, man, we got to get lucky and hope the right person hears us and kind of gives us an opportunity. But I see like you guys, and it's in terms of pursuing your dreams and creating. Obviously what I'm trying to find for people is like, creating like art, bringing art into the world. And there's a saying. So there's Martin Luther, was a priest, something way back in the day, and he used to have this thing like, it would say like, he had this saying where a good man doesn't do good works for the sake of doing works. He does them because he's a good man. I think I just butchered that, but if you don't do good stuff just because they're good stuff, you do them like because you're inherently good. And I like to think a lot of times it's like in the creation of art, it's kind of the same thing. It's like I think for a lot of people who aren't creating art for the sake of like trying to make it for purpose. I mean, to a degree, you want to make money, you want to be professional, but like you like to think you're doing it because like you want to create good, you want to write good songs.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
And that's I
Songs
think
come first.
exactly. And I think a lot of times bands, people can lose track of that. But it's always encouraging to see people like when you maintain that attitude. I think it helps you really keep people grounded as they're working along.
I see that in like the beginning stages of bands.
Yeah.
You listen to all these famous bands in the beginning. That's when at their purest form,
Yeah.
their truest form, and it's really good stuff. And then, yeah, it's sad when they evolve and they have the suits.
Yeah.
Time to just do this or do that. Yeah. So we're at that right now. We really take pride and we take care of what we're creating. It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
We argue about it, but it's healthy because we argue because we care. Well, it could sound better. It could always be better. So,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I have faith that if we put our best efforts into our songs, I mean, none of us are weird enough to where people won't be able to connect with us.
Yeah.
If we make the best song possible.
Debatable, but I
could be weird.
like your. Well, that's great. I mean, that's the thing. Like, as long as you guys are continue to make the songs that you want to write, I think that makes the biggest difference when you're trying to pursue any sort of like art or musical sort of background. So let's we've got real deep. We got super deep right now. Let's talk about some stuff. So
Yeah.
let's talk about influences. I mean, what are some of the bands that you look to, like, maybe necessarily don't sound like you guys, but when you think about it, that's kind of shaped your personal, attitude towards music? Like, what are some of your favorite bands, I guess? Just make it easy.
Well, I think we share one.
Yeah, me and Kenny are huge Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Eagles, classic.
And yeah, I think like our vocal stuff, I think that's where it comes from. Personally, I'm into the classics.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard the Beatles, I was a little kid, and I just had this huge
Mind
wig.
blown.
Yeah, mind blown. I was into Michael Jackson for a while, Stevie Wonder. More recent stuff, the 1975 is a great band. Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, hell yeah, right?
Taylor Swift, she's cool.
Robert.
Skrillex.
You lost me a little bit there, but no, Eagles. I can hear a lot of Eagles stuff. I think you guys actually were talking about 3-part harmonies, and it's a very, in terms of like the vocal aspect of your songs, I definitely can see the relationship there. Any other bands that jump out to you guys that really have kind of...
Kyle?
I like to take a pretty modern approach, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, got a huge appreciation for classic rock, but I'm real big on the newer stuff, alternative, pop punk, emo, even heavy stuff. System of Down's one of my favorite bands. Love Green Day, AFI,
yeah.
so try and incorporate
The Academy
everything.
is.
Oh, the Academy is. Yeah, so
Academy
we've got a
is.
pretty diverse
Academy is.
set of influences here. I know
Yeah.
Paul's really big on the blues guitar.
Yeah, definitely. John Mayer, huge influence.
John-
I'm more into like guitar artists rather than bands themselves. Don't get me wrong, I love bands.
Yeah,
but
no, of course.
When I go to like reach out for music, personally, it's always like guitar artists. John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Can I tell you that? So I'm a big Clapton fan,
Oh yeah.
and John Mayer drives me crazy because he could be like heir to like the blues guitar throne. You see these clips of his shows, like in between songs, he rips off these like blues licks, and it's like amazing. And I mean, John Mayer's John Mayer. Like, he's obviously going to be more successful than I ever am. But then you listen to his normal songs, like, okay, that's cool, but like you could be Clapton's heir apparent if you
His
wanted
studio
to.
recordings do not compare to his live work.
And
in
it's
my
end up,
opinion.
it's like
I
you
saw
were the
my-
chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the force, and instead you just,
Yeah.
But whatever. That always drove me crazy because
Yeah.
some of the stuff. But yeah, blues is always I'm a big blues fan myself. So,
Totally.
so do a lot of performances actually, as we talked about, shows and all that kind of good stuff. Do you guys have a preference between? I mean, it's probably a stupid question, but playing live and maybe doing studio work? Is there like a one you like doing more? Obviously live, you get the audience involved, but studio time, there's a lot to be said about sitting in the studio with just the band and really hammering out songs, anything like that. And you guys have like a preference on the two, or is it really?
We've had so many discussions
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
It's all about finding balance, really.
Yeah.
Because I would say both are equally important.
Yeah, they go
If we
hand in
played
hand.
shows forever, it would get tiring. It would get useless
Yeah.
eventually.
When we played our first round for the Battle of the Bands at Slide Bar, that kind of ended our thought, oh, we got to record now, because we had to focus on our live show, because
Yeah.
the competition was all live show,
Yeah.
you know?
I didn't care
But-
how good your songs were.
Yeah, so we just kind of put together our, 25, 30-minute set just that we could get through the competition, but now that we're done with it, we're trying to get back into the studio and actually get some demos for people who want to hear our stuff.
Yeah, so instead of rehearsing, twice, 3 times a week, now we're in the studio.
Yeah.
Twice, 3 times a week.
It's different beats, because you think about like a live show, there's so much more than a live show than like we're gonna go and play our songs. Like there's definitely like an energy you need to bring, and it's that's why it's called a performance. It's you're not just playing your songs, you have to be like a personality, you have to interact with the audience, you have to get everyone engaged. Where studio work, I mean, obviously you can do songs multiple times. I mean, with shows you get one shot, and that's unless you really all mess up, like, oh, we're gonna start over, which is always kind of like the cop out move. Like that's it, you go and you're done. Or with the studio work, obviously you can perfect stuff. But obviously, I mean, they have their benefits, but yeah, I mean that's cool. So you guys are looking to recording some stuff right now?
Yeah,
Are
we're
you-
actually taking a little break from that today to do this.
Oh well, I appreciate the time off.
No, we appreciate the time off.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Thank you.
We
So
got
you guys-
gather some thoughts.
Are you working on like an album or like an EP or what are you?
EP,
EP,
I
yeah.
think.
Sort of,
Demo.
yeah,
Headbangers,
collection of songs.
Yeah, just a little self-produced, doing it all ourselves.
That's cool. I mean, you can do that now. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You can record, you can put it out there, and you don't really need some, I mean, obviously record companies help, but with stuff like SoundCloud or Bandcamp,
Oh, yeah.
Facebook and YouTube.
Even
that's-
iTunes, it's easy to get stuff on iTunes nowadays. So
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
That's I mean it's interesting being able to like how easy it is to put music out, but then it's easy for everybody, so then it's getting your music recognized. I mean that's
Exactly.
obviously the play
Yeah.
between the two.
The reward is not what it used to be also.
That's true. I mean you really got to find a way to get in, like to get it going. It's not just like, oh, here's a record contract and now you're rock. So now it's like, well, the whole record industry, ever since with Napster and just digital streaming, digital music, it's definitely a different beast. It's not
Napster.
the Napster. Yeah, it's funny because you think about that program and how much it really changed the music
The
world.
game, yeah.
Just how everything's everything is
man.
different now, and it's not like you record a 4-track demo, you throw it, you give it to a DJ at a radio station, or whatever, and you hope to get heard. Now it's like, well, everyone can hear your music, but everyone's music out there, so it's just trying to sift it and find it out there.
Different ballgame, yeah.
Just like video. Yes. So what I thought was really cool, because I tend to be more of a traditionalist when I come to my music. In this day and age, I mean, you're kind of a more traditional like rock and roll outfit: guitar, drums, bass, some keys.
Yeah.
Have you found? I mean, was there a conscious decision to kind of go that route, or I mean, is that just how? I would assume it's how everything evolved, and you guys kind of got together and started making music. But when you think about like what's popular today, you hear a lot of electronic influences, a lot of like bass, like bass everywhere. I mean, when you think about like the music you're writing, do you ever feel like? I guess the question would be, do you ever feel like the music you're making is out of time right now? It's not like what's around, and does that bug you at all?
Not out of time, but it could be more current. I
Yeah.
think right now
Could
our
be
modern.
a little more modern.
I think our
We have a great appreciation for modern stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, everything's circular because everything kind of comes around at some point,
Yeah,
but
so
it's,
our current setup right now is honestly just kind of based on our
Current resources.
resources.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think our motto right now is adapt or die.
adapt or die.
So I see all these drummers starting to mess with sequence or with tracks and all that. So I'm geeking out on this device that I can just launch whatever,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So yeah, it's just we're not out of date, but we do have some improvement, and that's what we're kind of doing right now.
Have you ever found that you've been writing a song and your setup, you've been restricted, like you haven't got this exact sound you wanted because of your setup or because of the restrictions on you?
All the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's been, I guess, the biggest thing you've like that maybe something you've like haven't been able to do? Does anything jump out?
We need a guitar player that plays keys.
Guitar player that plays
Yeah.
keys.
If we had that, we'd be set.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, like a rhythm guitarist who played keys. That'd be
2
legit.
in 1. Yeah.
Had it like a laptop over here, long, triggering
Yeah.
off.
Just
stuff.
start.
Where can we find someone that plays guitar and keys?
Oh man, that's interesting. Maybe
Rob, you know anyone?
on the internet.
I think my dad does.
That's funny. That'd be why not? Father and son reunited playing music.
Yeah, I mean,
that could work.
He's definitely got the resume.
Oh yes, you're. I mean, yes. Let's. I mean, so tell me about the gold records real fast. We'll just. I know it's kind of.
Yeah, we didn't rent this room.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just got these last month.
I'm gonna say this is your collection, like you know.
So this is '83. Yeah, that was us at the Grammys.
All right.
Yeah. So my father's Mexican, Latino artist.
All right.
He was in a pretty popular band in the 80s and 90s, and he was one of the lucky ones. You
Yeah.
know? And same thing, he tells me stories about his band, and he says, you know what, man, you guys are where we were, playing clubs once a week, twice a month
Yeah.
for nobody, playing covers that you don't want to play anymore. He says, just keep at it, keep writing, and just put in the work. So, I mean, if he told me and he has all this, then
Must know something.
I think it
He knows
works.
what's up.
you know?
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's nice to have. I mean, I don't know how involved he is, but having that someone you can like ask stuff, who's kind of been
Oh,
through
yeah,
it, and having that
definitely.
sort of, I don't want to say mentor, but like having, you know, a lot of bands don't have nothing, but they
The
feel like,
answers
hey,
are there.
yeah,
They're-
there's
it's
someone who's
right
been
there.
through
I
it.
don't have to Google anything. Just a little knock on the door.
Yeah,
What's up? Tell me.
it's like, Dad, please show me the way. Give him, son. I don't know.
It's like, go sit in your room and I'll tell you.
Go in your room,
Doesn't
then.
tell me.
Okay, I was told to ask this. The Bellwethers.
Does Kenny?
Where does the name come from, or what does the name mean? And I think the
Kyle should
bassist.
take this.
Alrighty. Me and Kenny, Cal State Fullerton alumni, go Titans. We had a class in business management, and him and I sat next to each other, and we saw this word in the textbook, bellwether. It's a reference to a leader of sorts in an industry, a trendsetter, if you will.
Oh.
And we kind of, it was interesting because we looked at each other and we were, wait, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Bellwether?
Band name?
Band name? Yeah, a lot of things are band names in theory, but this one really stuck out to us. Stuck? That's not a word. Stuck out to us.
There you
And
go.
I
Go
didn't even
Titans.
notice.
go Titans! Yeah, see my education there. We
We studied business.
but yeah, we did a little play on words with the Bellwethers, you know.
Yeah, we
and,
misspelled it.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
We
yeah.
misspelled it on purpose.
Like
yeah.
the Oneaters? Is that?
Yeah,
There
funny
you
you
go.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's our.
It's,
like the
it's one of
Oneaters.
our favorite covers. to
Yeah.
It's
play.
a great song. No, that's
Fun.
that song that always blew my mind because that was like a #1 single when that movie came out, and I think that movie was really popular. So it's like, oh, I'm so glad that these
And
people
those
can.
actors didn't even play it.
Yeah, I know. It's talk about success. Just like, oh, let's just write a song for this movie, and then everyone loves the song. It seems so easy. So do you guys like the name of your band? I feel like a lot of bands they pick their name and they always like we hate the name of our band, but
Oh, that was like us in our first band, the Strip.
the strip.
Well, yeah, we thought it would be super funny because like, oh, we'll invite people to the Strip show.
Ah,
Got
yes.
real old, real
I could
fast.
see that being.
Yeah,
No, we all like the band name.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I like
like.
Vanny.
Kenny said this to me. You know, it's you don't really hear this anymore, but it's the and something plural.
Yes.
And, and I
That's
like that.
I see when I think of band names, like I always like the bands, like
Uh-huh.
the Strokes and the Sums, and that's not a band. That was a Sum 41.
The Sum 41.
The Sum 41. I think that was a joke in their music video. But that's, I feel like a traditional like band name is like the Wonders or the Beatles,
Yeah,
the Pink Floyd. Because you call if you,
yeah. The Weezer.
the Weezer. But that's cool. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's a big thing. Like, if you like your band name, that's you're already halfway there. You're already halfway to the top. So when you talk about, I mean, so for most of you guys, I'm going to assume that music is probably your first passion, being that you're in a band and you're trying to, that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And when you talk about like music as more than just writing songs and playing for people, when you talk about contributing to art and contributing to like people. I mean, how for you guys, like when you're making music and you think about what it can do, like how important do you think like music is for people? Like how important do you think it can be?
Entirely.
Huge.
Entirely.
It's big.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
I mean, I've been doing this thing for a while, and I remember thinking, you know, when I'd play shows, I would see a lot of people, you know, average Joe Schmoes, you know, 9-to-5 jobs, and on the weekends they go out, and that's their escape. You know, music is their escape. Music, when you have a lot of people have bad days, throw on their headphones and they just kind of mellow out. It's huge. It's therapeutic. It's, you know.
Yeah. Art for even people that don't play it or do it or create it, I think it's a huge part of their identity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people always have that one album that, you know, changed their life.
Yeah.
There's that one album you can look back and you can think to yourself like, man, that's when, be it a time in your life that was really rough, or for a lot of like people who are musicians that maybe they really kind of understood like what music can be. I mean, do you guys have any albums that maybe when you heard that album for the first time, you're like, man, this is more than just like sitting listening to you. This is like life. This is me. This is my person, like in a music form. Or these artists kind of get me, or can kind of get me. I mean, do you guys have any of those sort of albums that really?
Bleed American for me.
It's
By
a
Jimmy
great.
World.
That, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because there's a few albums that you talk about. That's like a perfect album. Like there's no, like some albums you really like, but you may skip one or two songs. But
No.
Bleed American is one of those ones
No.
you don't skip anything. Like you listen to it all the way through, and it's like a perfect album. That's a good one. I mean, I don't know if the other guys have anything that really jumps to mind, but
The new Daft Punk, or not so
Yeah.
new, the Random Access Memories.
oh yeah,
That told me, when I heard that, I said, there's hope. You
There's
know,
hope.
for music, because all that funk stuff that
Yeah.
I like, you know, that funk guitar and the Fender Rhodes keyboards, all that 70s kind of style came back, obviously with the new spin, with,
Yeah.
you know, all these machines and stuff. But yeah, I mean, to me, that was a perfect album. From 1 to 9 or 10 or whatever, however many songs they had on there.
it was a good album. I love that album myself, and a lot of people kind of didn't like it because
They didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
A lot of hardcore Daft Punk fans, they'd say, "No, man, I can't get into it." And then later on, somebody told me, "Hey, man, I owe you an apology because I listened to it, and you're right. It's
yeah.
good.
I always had a theory about that album because when Daft Punk was funny because I listened to Daft Punk when I was a freshman in high school before anyone even, this is my hipster moment, before people even knew who Daft Punk were. And, you know, I remember staying up late to watch Adult Swim. No, it was still Toonami play music videos. It was Daft Punk and Gorillaz. And it was One More Time, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. The first 4 songs off of Discovery. And then, but later, everyone complained when I think Human After All came out, and then Daft Punk played their live show and just blew everyone's minds. So I have this theory that for a lot of people who are big Daft Punk fans, didn't like, I think, Random Access Memories, because, I mean, those are songs, but for them, if they ever play, I don't know if they're still playing shows, if they're playing, like, I'm sure whenever they come, the pyramid ascends from the heavens, and it opens, and they come out and they perform a show, I'm sure it's going to be probably one of the greatest things ever, because for maybe people like traditional like Daft Punk fans. But I mean, I thought the album was amazing. And it's like you said, stuff like funk guitar, all that kind of old R&B kind of sound. You don't really hear that, you know, Bruno Mars aside.
And everybody started doing it.
Yeah, you're
after
starting
that.
to now.
Yeah, and if you don't believe him, just watch. And that's a Bruno Mars joke that went over.
Don't believe it, just
Oh, perfect. So yeah, well, I think we're gonna wrap everything up, guys. I really appreciate, time flies when you're talking music. Really appreciate you guys being on. Do you guys have a website?
Yes, we do.
You do, actually.
Is it thebellwethers.com?
Bellwethers.com.
All right. What can we find on this website?
That'll actually just link you to all of our other social medias.
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of launched it. It's not really set up yet, but it'll send you to our Facebook.
Okay.
We have a lot of cool information there.
It's
We
got some music.
SoundCloud. Yeah, it's got our music on there.
Does it?
Yeah. We got our music on
Hopefully,
Oh,
maybe.
Well, that's good.
I'll
there.
point you
Facebook,
to music.
SoundCloud,
Need
Instagram, and Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
We do
It's
have
all on
Twitter.
there.
Is everything just the Bellwethers or?
Bellwether's music for most things. I
Yeah,
think.
everything was Bellwether's Music as much as we can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the trick.
Yeah, Facebook is Bellwether's Music. SoundCloud is The Bellwethers. Twitter is Bellwethers because Bellwether's Music didn't fit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll So I finally figured out how stuff works on YouTube, and I can't just link things in the videos, but I'll put all the relevant information
teach
below.
us?
Can I teach you the
Right about
ways?
here?
Right. No, it's going to be down below.
Dang
Right.
it.
I know.
Right here. Can I be one of these guys?
Maybe
Gotta get some
Points and-
graphics,
I'll put a box. I can put a box there, and it'll say box. Now.
Box.
There we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a mini little performance, a few songs.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know what songs? Did we figure that out?
Did we figure that out?
We're gonna play Green, one of our originals.
How many
that's
were we
for
playing?
2? Maybe?
Two.
2 sound good? That's like
Green
a good
Secrets.
little...
Sure. Green Secrets. Okay.
If you want.
Rad.
Green Secrets or Green and Secrets?
Green
And Secrets.
Green and Secrets.
Green
Perfect.
secrets.
Green Secrets.
All right. Well,
Secret Green.
this was the Bellwethers. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like
Thanks a lot, guys.
YouTube
thank
things, and stay tuned for some music. We're out of here.
All right, guys. We are again the Bellwethers. This song is called Green. She has a way with all the boys, all the tricks a guy employs. Fell apart with a little grin. And slowly, guys are falling one by one. Isn't single so much fun? The shopper and the mannequins. Checks in at about 5'3", looking good, but damn girl, look at me. Well, I'm doing well, 18, little arrogant queen. Take away the toys, take away the sheen. And she's still green. The centerfold of the digital age. If you're looking for love, then you're on the wrong page. Elegant in a promenade way, looking downtown made. Marilyn, what do you say? Hey, hey! Checks in at about 5'3", looking good, but damn girl, look at me. Well, I'm doing well, 18, little arrogant queen. Take away the toys, take away the sheen. And she's still searching for the answers after all. She's searching for the answers. She's searching for the answers after all. She has her way with all the boys, all the tricks a guy employs. Fell apart with a little grin. Checks in at about 5'3", looking good, but come on baby, look at me. Well, I'm doing well, 18, little arrogant queen. Take away the toys, take away the sheen. And she's still, oh, she's so green. She's so green. Yahoo. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.